Welcome to another TAM discussion. In this edition, we're going to be covering our observations of the recent Chamber of Commerce Indiantown Candidates Forum held on the 6th of July, 2022. To begin with, the forum was held at the Indiantown Civic Center. The room was not empty, but surely not as full as it should have been either. It was a moderated event. In all, for the type of forum it was, it came off without any real confusion or hiccups. You could tell the chamber had spent time on its preparation. They were very careful not to seem partial in the process. They handled the partiality issue by creating a list of questions ahead of time and giving them to each of the candidates. Then, as the candidates arrived, they picked numbers from a bowl. The numbers they pulled were to be questions they answered. So, of course, almost all of the attending candidates, some did not attend, had a written sheet with their answers to all of the questions. It showed a sense of pre-planning on their part. While some of the answers were telling, there are only a couple of responses that we found noteworthy, and we'll get back to those in a bit. With no disdain for the chamber, because their professional approach to the forum was executed very well, we do have some suggested ideas for the next time. One of the benefits of having all the candidates there at the same forum meant a busy voter could see the whole field in one short evening event. So good job, Chamber. We knew the evening was going to be telling when, after taking a seat in the gallery prior to the forum, we were verbally accosted. It seems we sat in a chair next to a person that had reserved their seat directly next to mine with what appeared to be their car keys. After a short period, we heard a voice say, "Oh no, I have to move for sure." She was loud and certain in her tone, like she wanted everyone else to hear her. When we looked, a masked woman declared out loud that she was going to have to move because, quote, "The last time I was here, you harassed me," she declared. Of course, we laughed and responded that she had us mistaken for someone else. We thought nothing else about it, though, until after the forum. After the forum, each of the candidates had an opportunity to mingle and answer direct questions from the citizens that were there. It didn't take long before a man stood up from the back of the room in the same mass group that our offended older lady was now with. He was moving towards one of the candidates, holding an object in his hand and wielding it while exclaiming the candidate was a racist, again in a manner that everyone could hear and see. By this time, you can begin to connect the dots. As it turns out, the man's son had been arrested 12 years ago by the candidate, who was a 28-year deputy with an impeccable record in Indiantown. Oh boy, the accusations were flying. Carmine handled the situation with good dispatch and showed great leadership. When he asked the father of the convicted perp, "Why now? After 12 years?" That was what seemed to be enough to repel the verbal assault from going any further. 12 years indeed. Why after 12 years do you claim racist? And why was Tam publicly accused at the same event of harassing a senior minority woman? Well, the answer came a while later as we spoke with a citizen that refused to go on record but reminded Tam of the tactics that were used in the last election cycle. The group running in the last election with Antony's help brought in outside progressive and Democratic operatives to stir the narrative against Guy Parker, who only lost by 11 votes. They also passed out voting cheat sheets and went door to door in the minority community, informing them that this is who they must vote for, with intimidation. Remember Kenny Johnson, Brian West, and Robert Burns? Remember the ties between him and Antony that we have already shown and proven? Other candidates, too, have used the ACLU, NAACP, militant playbooks and tactics. They've even used them as campaign counsel in their efforts against, well, their candidates this time around. The citizen we spoke with lives among the group. They informed us that there is already an effort affiliated with certain candidates to create a false narrative on the streets about the candidate as being racist. Well, Deputy, I guess you're striking a nerve. If the best they have is to call you racist, you must be a threat to the incumbent's chance of winning. He certainly cannot stand on his record in any sane community. Speaking of the deputy's opponent, he and one other candidate did not attend. Both sent excuses, and the gallery was told that Miss Rosado was in Puerto Rico on family matters that were planned ahead of the forum scheduling. We're told her father is in need of attention, and we wish her and her family the best in their efforts. God bless. Antony said a VA visit interfered with his ability to be there. Truth be told, Tam believes that he wants as little exposure and inspection of his record as is possible, but we'll assume he could not reschedule a VA appointment. It does, however, kind of show his priorities. His campaign so far has consisted of hiding, dodging, and accusing people of racist tactics because he is a black man. We've shown several video examples of how he and other council people base their decision making on race and not the American precept that all men are created equal. Or on the topic of Mr. Dowling, what a topic he is, we have to follow up and go a bit further down the rabbit hole on a fact that Barbara Cloudis brought to everyone's attention. That is a fact that Mr. Dowling declared his only source of income as the village of Indiantown. Evidently, he's either independently wealthy or excellent at getting by. Let that sink in for a minute and follow us down some logical paths as we analyze that fact. Let's start here. A council person makes $10,000 a year. That breaks down to $833 before taxes a month to live on. Ask yourself this. How does a single man afford to operate on $833 a month before taxes with the worst inflation of 40 plus years? There's a couple of possibilities. One is that he receives some form of government taxpayer sustenance, either from disability from his guard duty, which we doubt since he was in the guard again and had a desk job, EBT. He could get rent assistance and or other taxpayer-sponsored contributions. I guess if you need them, you need them, and it's a good thing that the taxpayers are there to help those that do need them. What is important, and the reason we bring this up is this. You, the voter, are being asked to re-elect a person that relies upon you, the taxpayer, to make his money to live. How do you put a person that needs taxpayer money to survive in office to make rules about how your money is spent and collected? He's already talked about a raise for himself. Could it be why he advocated also for an additional 2,000 plus taxpayer dollars for a stipend for the council members? He must not have enough money. The fact that there has to be some sort of other financial source for him also leaves the imagination to consider who else may be declaring cash contributions to the good councilman on the side. Forget everything else for a moment. The fact that he's almost 40 and still not financially stable through his efforts speaks to his acumen and ability to lead a multi-million-dollar budget process. Is that the person you want making your tax rate that you will have to pay out of your hard-earned dollars? Let's take a look at some of the responses from last night's forum that stood out. One of the statements made by Jackie Clark kind of told the story. She admitted that FPL has been reducing its footprint in the village. She told those in attendance that the village needed to hurry up and get some more building occurring to compensate for the loss of tax dollars from FPL. You see, FPL accounts for over 80+% of the village revenue. As a matter of fact, the amount of money this year is going to be 3% less overall for the village to use in their operation and budget needs. With that in mind, the next comment that Jackie made conflicts with her statement about the FPL impact. Jackie believes the village hall expenses are justifiable. All this while the water plant that did receive $18 million from the state, but still needs an additional $80 million to come up to standard, that's just to get it ready for build out and to make it safe and reliable for the community. Carmine Diapolo made an impassioned list of what needs to be done before any new village hall was to be constructed. This list included bringing the level of roads, water, and parks up to a standard that are deserving of the community. Then he said, efforts can be made to develop more growth. He reinforced that the village needs to take care of its own before they go looking to appease others. He also commented on the fact that he felt the village upper management has way too much influence on the process of government. All in all, there was no real earth-shattering comment that stood out. Susan Gibbs Thomas had her act together. She was able to stand on her record, unlike Jackie or Anthony, and that's why Susan has been endorsed by the local firefighters union. Carmine and Jackie's opponent, Angela Perez, were also given the thumbs up from the union as well. It speaks volumes to the lack of vision shared by Jackie and Anthony. Look for an upcoming event at Indianwood with the firefighters to listen to why they made the endorsements that they did. Reality is the taxes will be going up in Indiantown. Things are not all rosy and bright. Your job as a citizen and voter is to decide which of the candidates will handle the upcoming financial shortfalls with wisdom and experience and not dig the financial hole any deeper. We hope this election does not become another race baiting event that was a disgrace last time and involved Florida state law enforcement investigations. We're working on some information that will help expose the level of efforts taken to win last time, and the same players are playing the same game this time too. We've been watching, listening, and investigating ourselves. We'll have some more information for you in the days to come that will clearly demonstrate who the players are and what their game is. So stand by. Well, okay, Indiantown, this election is a make it or break it for you. What road are you going to take? Will you choose to elect someone based on race? Or will you close your eyes and actually listen to their words? Will you look at what they've done in the past? Will you look at what they have achieved? Will you look at the character of the candidate? Take a close look at who they each stand with. Do they stand with the kind of people you want to be known and associated with? We hope for everyone's sake that Indiantown citizens do their homework and vote for the facts and not the social justice theme provided from some camps. Your choice will affect your future. All right, until next time, folks, stay safe and keep your heads up. God bless America.